Thank you.
And it's showing on YouTube. And the second alarm thing just went off. So we should be good to go.
Looks like I can still see your slide there, Matt. You're gonna have to hit stop sharing. There we go. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our regular public meeting. Could we please open with the pledge if you'll join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The fiscal officer, please call the roll.
All right, Trustee Sierra, Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger. I see everyone.
Here.
Okay. Township Administrator.
Here.
Chief of Fire. I see you.
Here.
There you are. Chief of Police.
Here.
Superintendent of Public Works.
Here.
And it looks like we're joined by Code Enforcement today as well.
Here.
All right.
Our next meeting is February 17th at 12 p.m. I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda with flexibility.
I'll second.
All right, Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes. And utilizing flexibility for the benefit of some of our Westside residents who may be joining us today, we're going to jump straight to our Code Compliance Officer's report. Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you. I have a summary on the current status for the issues at 942 Chamber Circle and the issues faced by the residents of the circle in particular. There are two main concerns with this property. There is a public safety and health issue and the blight issue of the property itself. So I'm going to address the public health issues first. Clinton Township is working closely with Franklin County Public Health on this. We have a very good relationship with that department, and we are pursuing several items. Franklin County Public Health has issued an order under ORC 3707.02, ordered that property at 942 to correct the debris in the rear of the property, openings in the exterior of the house, correct damaged eaves and soffit, correct the rodent infestation, and correct the grass and weeds around property. The order has not been complied with for the large part. The boarding up of windows and doors is not sufficient to abate this nuisance. The required steps, according to Franklin County Public Health, will be the gutters must be cleaned and repaired so that they drain properly and do not provide mosquito breeding habitats. The house and sheds must be cleared of any rodents and vermin and secured in a way that prevents access to them in the future. The pile of wood and debris along the side of the sheds needs to be elevated at least 6 inches above the ground, as it is a current harborage for vermin. The pile of construction debris must be removed, as it is also a harborage for vermin, and it must be disposed of at a licensed disposal facility. The owner should also clear the brush, limbs, and any other yard waste from the back of the property. Due to the order not being complete, the Board of Trustees of Clinton Township authorized by resolution a cleanup under ORC 50587. And Public Works has actually already started this work. At this time of year, it can be a little difficult to see what has been done due to the snow and everything. However, Superintendent Flagg's team have already cleared all of the leaves that were able to be cleared initially that were causing the mosquito issue. They are gone. And so that was done. And we just have to access the ones in the rear of the property now that are unfortunately covered by snow. The Public Works is working with an exterminator, and that will be an attempt for us to alleviate the rodent and raccoon issues currently to ensure the safety of residents and our employees when working on that site. It is paramount that our employees are not exposed to raccoons, rabid raccoons and things like that when trying to abate the property. Public Works will continue their cleanup and execute a full abatement of this property, working with myself and code enforcement when the weather permits. Clearing brush before it regrows. Superintendent Flagg is keen to get that done before it has a chance to grow again. And and removing the debris from the site, all of which we are authorized to do. The second problem with that property is the blight issue. And the condition of this property is, of course, a concern to residents. And even excluding the fact that the property owner has boarded the property. It is a concern for other reasons. Clinton Township is working with the Franklin County Building Department, who have already issued an unsafe building adjudication order. This is their demand to repair the roof, guttering, and soffit. This is a duplicate order, but there are now 2 orders from 2 separate parts of the county have been issued for those gutters and the repairs to that property. These are strong orders and carry quite a weight of law. So that will be that's a major thing that will be fought, I'm sure. Clinton Township is also investigating, and this is something that we are internally having to do, that the violation of ORC section 2308.031, which, to summarize, is effectively the ban on plywood boarding of properties. In 2017, a bill was signed to stop plywood being used in the manner that it has been used on that property. And we will seek correct legal consultation on that to make sure that it is correct. But that is we just have to check on how that is enforced. And if enforced, it requires the property to be sealed using clear perspex or plastic to avoid the look of blight. The building must be returned to a condition that does not have any boarding on the windows and doors And I'm confident that we're going to be able to enforce that particular one once we consult with our lawyers. That is a basic overview right now of what's going on, and there is quite a bit of activity. We just, can't always see it with the snow and stuff, but the second that snow is gone, Superintendent Flagg, myself, and his team will be all over the property.
Thanks for your report and your diligence. I wondered if there were questions from the other trustees at all about the update. I guess I just wanted to sort of stress for residents that we take these concerns really seriously, and we all wish the process could move quicker. But zoning is just a frustration in that we're balancing constantly private property rights of owners versus the good of the community, and we have to proceed through these steps that the law outlines for us. And Mr. O'Connor's been working on this property for months, and we will continue to do our due diligence about it. So appreciate your time today, Jonathan. With that, while we are bouncing around the agenda a little bit, I would very much like to also use some flexibility to talk about the Northwest Corridor, which is might be something that profoundly affects our West Side neighborhoods. While we may have some interested viewers about that topic, and then we'll proceed with the agenda in a more orderly fashion, I promise. But if we could go to committee and team reports. And Mr. Huffman, I'll ask you to start off that topic for us, if you would, please.
Sure. The City of Columbus, along with CODA and MORPC, are conducting a study in the Northwest, what they call the Northwest Corridor. It is looking into doing a bus rapid transit situation where it would allow for movement of individuals quicker and easier through the corridor. They currently have 3 different proposals, one straight down Olentangy River Road, one that would cut over on Henderson down to, I believe, Ackerman, and then another one that would actually go down more into our neighborhood of the Lennox Center. The city has a website. This information is posted on both our Facebook page and the Nextdoor social media sites. The links are there. We strongly encourage our residents to get online, review the information. There's a survey there that is asking residents to reply with answers to the questions. And again, the links are all on social media, and now that I think about it, also on the clintontownship.org website. There are a virtual open house currently going on through the 19th, and then there will be a live open house on February 10th, both at noon and 6 p.m. They encourage RSVPs to attend those. So it looks like Trustee Sarah has those 3 routes online. It's route number 2 that would impact our particular part of the township, which will allow for some bus rapid transit directions that would go down close to the Lennox. So, Trustee Sarah, anything I missed that you'd like to add, or?
Trustee Sarah, you're muted.
Yeah, I have about 3 different mute buttons on my screen. I think I found the right one. How's this? Okay, so I wanted to just show the graphic that you will see, and I want to encourage everyone from the township to take a look at this link too. I mean, we're all consumers of this corridor. If you travel around the city, you use it. You don't have to be a resident to take this survey. I should think the chiefs, probably have ideas about where they'd like to see rapid transit in their way and not as well. So feel free to go to this link. It's down here at the bottom of your screen. And as Mr. Huffman said, he'll put it out there. So one idea straight down Olentangy River Road, and this is a rapid transit system. They're talking about dedicated bus lanes and the elimination of some traffic lanes to accommodate that where necessary, widening of road, adding stops that look beautiful in the idea stage. You'll get to see a lot of information and a lot of material when you go to one of the virtual open houses, and you can look around at all of the slides that we've been seeing in our many meetings about this. But this graphic is what's very important to us, I think. The second proposal, as you can see, would come across Lane Avenue down Kenny and then back across Kinnear before heading south on Olentangy again, which will bring it right past the Lennox and right down Kinnear. So that is an issue for our West Side residents to do some thinking about in terms of considering what they want their input to the city to be like. I imagine some of us, myself included, I think this is an economic development opportunity. I think this is workforce development, and this is good news to bring an alternative like this so close to the township and to connect our residents, both northerly to OSU and beyond, as well as to the downtown with multimodal transportation kinds of options for them. I can imagine that there are residents who might feel otherwise about that and who might be concerned and have other opinions. This is why it's important to make your voice heard and go to the website. They will ask you, and they'll have you look at these boxes where they have their goals outlined for the project and how each alternative relates to the goals or was scored internally against the goals. It's interesting to see that for me, one that stood out was that option number 2 is actually 4 stars in both workforce advancement and economic development. It outscores the Arlington Loop in both of those pretty important categories. It's better than the Arlington Loop would be in sustainability. And then interestingly enough, this category stands out to me as well, because I'm having a hard time understanding the logic of spending more resources on an Arlington Loop and how that scores higher in equity than one in the neighborhoods that number 2 would serve. So it's just, you'll see some interesting data. You'll see some things to look at like this. And then the survey will literally ask you, what do you think is good about number 1 or number 2 or number 3? And that's where you're going to kind of get to voice some opinions. So probably eaten up enough of the time with that. And I just want to really encourage everyone to help get the word out to visit this link and learn a little more and take the survey.
A lot of the information that you'll see is obviously conceptual. So it is not actually decided that some of the construction that might occur around some of those stops are actually going to happen. It's just when you get into a transit-oriented development, you tend to get higher density development near the stops, which include some commercial as well as residential. So those items are strictly conceptual. They have not been approved or have developers, for that matter, line up to construct it.
Questions or comments?
I think that a similar fast bus service was brought to Cleveland Avenue 2 or 3 years ago. So I think they're talking about doing a similar thing. But if people wanted to compare, the Northern Lights stop is one of the few stops between downtown and Westerville. So we should probably stop because public transportation is a big issue. But I think that the township's already been through this on the east side and we're gaining.
This is a much bigger deal than CMAX. CMAX doesn't have dedicated lanes, for example. They have some signal light priority, and that's about all they've been granted so far. This is some major redevelopment they're proposing, right along with bike paths and pedestrian, enhanced pedestrian ways and multimodal kinds of considerations. So it's going to look a lot different than just putting a kind of an express route down Cleveland Ed. At least in the proposal stage, we'll see how it all shakes out. Were there other committee or team reports while we're on this item?
We have our produce market this Friday. Correct, Chief Rayleigh?
Actually, next Friday.
Next Friday, not this Friday. We had an awesome turnout at our last one as well. It seems like people are really getting the hang of coming in off of Elmore and Cleveland Avenue and coming up that back way. We got more signs out all along Cleveland Avenue. I'm going to add a couple of more closer to Ferris to keep traffic coming in where they're supposed to, because getting in and out of the front of the complex there, if they accidentally pull in, is a little treacherous during that time frame between 4 and 6 p.m. So look for those. Again, not this Friday, next Friday, the Friday after, 2 Fridays from now. Free produce market, 4 to 6 p.m. In or off of Cleveland Avenue and Elmore. Follow the hot pink signs. There will be plenty. I think we served about 130 households at our last market, and it was a steady flow through to the end. So it was a good turnout. Have anything to add, Chief Rayleigh?
Just that we have the schedule, I believe, both on the Clinton Township website, Facebook page, and the Clinton Township Division of Fire Facebook page through March. We are continuing to do 2 markets a month during that time. So we have a rotating event on our Facebook page. If you like it, it should give you a reminder. So keep an eye out for that. We hope to see you there.
Do we have the number for how many cans were passed out by React?
I had the number prior to the last Franklin County Public Health event where we talked about our activity for the year. And we were up in the mid 400s for last year, going toward the end of the year. But that also includes some other distribution points that we had at Amos Shopping Center outside of the market. So we're continuing to do that when we can.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go back to our general area of the agenda, and I'd like to pick up with item number 5. I'd like to make a motion to approve amending the vacation policy, which is section 4.5 of our personnel policies and procedures manual that and this motion just clarifies language pertaining to what is meant by anniversary year in that policy.
I'll second.
Any discussion, or are you ready for the roll call?
I think we're ready.
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'll just get this motion on the table and then give you some more information. So I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution that condemns intimidation and violence and reaffirms equality under the law.
I'll second.
Thank you. So some of you might be aware of some hate incidences that have been transpiring around the greater metropolitan area. A business on the south side of Columbus, for example, actually closed in fear for its employees for a while during this economy. That's got to be tough. After receiving some harassment, so one of the leadership groups that I'm involved with came up with a 1-page resolution that is just a reaffirmation of the kind of diversity that we value here in our community. Since it's 1 page, I am going to just read it quickly. And Deb, you have an electronic version, so hopefully you don't have to be scribing. So the resolution of Clinton Township Board of Trustees condemning intimidation and violence and reaffirming equality under the law. Whereas members of the Clinton Township Board of Trustees serve on the representative body for all residents of the township. And whereas we fully support diversity, equity, and inclusion of all people, affirming all ages, ancestries, colors, disabilities, gender identities or expressions, genetics, viral status, military or veteran status, employment status, national origins, housing or immigration status, races, religions, sex, sexual orientations, and whereas we believe that important functions of society are to share and create knowledge, explore ideas, and welcome diverse opinions in an atmosphere that is civil and safe for all Ohioans, and whereas the preamble of the Constitution of the United States sets forth our commitment to forming an interconnected union that prioritizes justice, domestic tranquility, our common defense, the welfare of all, and liberty. And whereas the Declaration of Independence in creating a nascent union holds that all of us are created equal and endowed with inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas we reiterate that our community is strong because of our steadfast commitment to strive to be inclusive and affirming for people and ideas from all corners of our society and all around the world. And whereas in recent days, there have been troubling reports of mental, physical, and verbal assaults on people of all ages at institutions across our country, including in Central Ohio. And whereas we believe that the promises set forth in the founding documents of the United States of America cannot be fulfilled when some intimidate or instigate violence against others. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Clinton Township Board of Trustees, County of Franklin, State of Ohio, that 1, while supporting each person's constitutionally protected rights, the Clinton Township Board of Trustees condemns any acts of hate speech, violence, or intimidation of any kind expressed toward any member of our community. And 2, we stand united both in spite of and as a result of the differences among us in our call to listen with compassion, to hold accountable those who fail to meet these standards, to welcome a range of perspectives and ideas, and to champion the rights of all people to equality under the law. I bring this before you because I'm proud of actions that this board has taken to open up its equal employment opportunity statements and how much we value the diversity in our community. I thought it was also an important time, given our economy, to send a strong message to folks in our community that may try to operate businesses here, that that's not the kind of environment that we want to see in our community. And I just would urge your support. Is there other discussion?
No, I think it sounds great.
Fiscal officer, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll second.
All right. Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve payroll.
Second?
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
I move we approve the December 29th, 2020 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
I move we approve the January 6th, 2021 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to move we approve January 15th, 2021 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
And finally, I'd like to move that we approve the minutes from January 21st, 2021.
I'll second.
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
And just to pause on the many food markets and other events we have. I do try to hyperlink when I can to various Facebook pages. But also, please, folks, get used to using these Facebook pages because, as Trustee Sword was just saying, the next market is going to be on the 13th, but these minutes won't get approved till the first meeting in March. So overall, just lots of ways to stay in touch with us. The meeting minutes are one way, but it's not the best to find upcoming events.
Thank you. Okay, November 2020 fiscal report.
Okay. November 1st, 2020, we had $7,356,016.44 as a starting balance. Our revenue back in November was $161,209.62. Expenditures were $676,772.29, leaving us with an overall fund balance of $6,840,453.77.
Motion to approve the November 2020 fiscal report.
I'll second.
Is that Jessberger?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Deb, I just needed to ask you before we proceed. I got a little bit confused. When I see your agenda items, the Excel spreadsheets had a different date on those appropriation sheets. So is the agenda correct with what we want to move here? We want to amend 2020 perms and 21 temps?
Yes, as we modify these, I changed the document's name. So I agree with you. It's confusing that we're looking back to last year and this year. So the draft I sent to the board for amending 2020 perms is, I think I had today's date, but it's last year's appropriations.
Yeah, but I think even the spreadsheet had the different title. So I have 2020 temps and 2021 temps.
Oh, no, wrong title. We want to amend last year's perms.
Okay.
Sorry if I mistitled it. The reason I'm requesting the board to approve this is we spent a little bit more out of the COVID fund on salaries than we had previously appropriated. Like, I'm just under by like 7,000. And then we needed to take down the EMS fund to reflect that we received less in EMS revenues, but the COVID fund actually helps balance that out. So those are the clerical reasons for amending last year's appropriations.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the 2020 permanent appropriations.
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes. And I'll just go ahead and make the motion to amend the 2021 temporary appropriations.
I'll second.
Not that we need a ton of discussion, but the only reason to do this was just to approve a larger cot or something that fire department needs to buy. So we almost waited till perms, but it takes a while to build, I think, the ambulance, and the sooner he can. Okay. So thank you. And then Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, down to Mr. Huffman, your section.
The first item on there is just to let the trustees know that I did submit or complete the MOU from the Board of Elections to utilize 999 for a voting location. There's two elections this year, May 4th and November 2nd. The Board of Elections says that there should be many local contests on those ballots. So this just allows them to keep the voting precinct close to our residents. And those who are used to voting there will continue to vote there for at least the coming year. So that has been completed and submitted to the Board of Elections. So 999 will continue being a voting precinct. The next item I had on there was I had a conversation regarding the SWACO recycling rate campaign. They are looking for ways to improve recycling in the communities around Central Ohio, including Clinton Township. So the process that they are going through is they did submit a grant which would allow communities to purchase larger 65-gallon recycling bins that would have lids on them. Those could be provided to the residents within the community. So that's something that I'll be bringing forth down the road after some further discussion in regards to that. One main reason for that is that they did determine that only about 36% of our residents are currently recycling. And with our sustainability focus for 2021, something like this would hopefully help increase the number of our residents who would participate in recycling. On the plus side too, since they would be larger and have a lid on them, that should help prevent litter in the community with windy activities and just the open bins that are currently being used. So more information on that. And I guess perhaps if our residents have thoughts on whether a larger recycling bin would benefit their use, if they want to reach out to me and kind of give me their thought process on that, I'll keep track of that and then bring it forth back to the board for further discussion about the purchase of those recycling bins. Fiscal Officer Steele brought something over to me the other day. It's a thank you from the United States Census 2020. Apparently we did what we needed to do to assist them with that process. So thank you to our residents who participated in answering the questions for the census. That helps our community perhaps get more funding based off those responses. So thank you for that. And just that my monthly report has been submitted to the trustees for their review.
Thank you. Mr. Huffman, it strikes me that we might want to consider putting a poll out on some of our social media about the recycling rather than waiting for folks to give you a call, and we could just see through the comments what we get while we're checking it out.
And they are recycling their containers now, so it's a big deal.
Okay, Chief Fraley.
Yes, using a little bit of flexibility, I have some sad news to report. I just want to let everyone know that one of our retired fire chiefs, Michael Mitchell, passed away January 23rd. Chief Mitchell retired in 1992 after serving our community for over 30 years. During his time, he accomplished a lot of good for both the department and the community. He was the second chief I worked under, and I greatly enjoyed working with him. So our thoughts and prayers are with his family. Next, we would like to request a PO for $12,600 payable to Heritage Fire Equipment for thermal imaging cameras from line item 2111-220-400.
So moved.
I'll second.
Oh, that was Trustee Sword that seconded it, right? Okay. Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
And last, I didn't have a chance to get a paper report out. Our end of year reporting in our software is having a bit of an issue. However, I just want to let everyone know, end of December, beginning of January, we've had a record number of structure fires in the fire department responded to in the area, both in the township and outside of the township. So I just wanted to make sure our residents were fully aware that we do distribute free smoke alarms to residents in the township. Reach out to me either through our website, email me that way, or you can get on the Clinton Township Division of Fire Facebook page. Hit that button. That's also an email directly to me. We can do up to 3 smoke alarms per resident. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Also in January, our medics are seeing still yet an increase in overdoses. And again, I just want those that are out there to be aware that we do a lot of Narcan distribution at our drive-through kits. And you also have the ability to go to Franklin County Public Health's website and have free Narcan delivered to your home just by filling out a form online and they mail it to you. So if there's anybody else or anyone out there that's in need, please feel free to either come to our markets or check out the website. Medic 62, we're starting to see a lot more in-service time on our west side, either between the medic being over there or the station car itself. We're getting some of our part-time people back on a more regular basis. And the last thing we had was February 13th. It looks like we're going to have a drive-through COVID-19 testing site here at Station 61 from 9 a.m. until 12 midnight. We just finalized the flyer this morning, so I should be getting that out to everyone shortly.
Great news. Thanks, Chief.
Sure.
Chief Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone. First item on business is to request a resolution accepting new communications agreement with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office for dispatching. The price per call is going up to $11.80, up from $9.75. This will be set through December of 2022. And also renewing this agreement keeps the cost adjustment for the first 160 calls for the use of the office space by the deputies.
I move we accept a new communications agreement with Franklin County Sheriff's Office that contains a price per call adjustment from $9.75 to $11.80 through December 2022.
I'll second.
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jesperger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
And I will leave a copy of the agreement in the mailbox for the trustees. I'll need everyone's signature. We'll get that back to them. Second item I have is to advise the Board of Trustees that Officer Travis Carpenter has announced his retirement effective March 1st, 2021. Just a little history with Travis. He began his career in Clinton Township on February 3rd of 1993.
Wow.
So 28 years today. During his career in 2004, he was awarded a Chief's Award for his service and mentoring of newer officers, also receiving recognition from others against drunk drivers for his efforts in combating drunk driving in Central Ohio. In 2006, Officer Carpenter was awarded the Purple Heart after he was struck by an impaired driver and hospitalized with serious injuries for a couple weeks. Officer Carpenter returned to full duty in 3 or 4 weeks after that incident. In 2015, Travis received Clinton Township's Life Saving Award and also the Ohio's Finest Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award, which is statewide, for saving a family of 4 adults and 6 children in an early morning house fire at 2117 Ferris Road. In 2016, Officer Carpenter again was awarded for his efforts in an apartment fire at 3668 Cleveland Avenue for assisting residents out of a multi-story apartment fire before fire crews arrived on scene. That in mind, Officer Carpenter is also requested to stay on part-time during his retirement, which would be effective in June after his PRS separation as he begins his new career path.
We appreciate his service. Glad he's coming back in some regard.
The next resolution I would request is to hire part-time officer James Goodwin as full-time effective February 6, 2021. That would be from Fund 2081-210-100 and replacing Sergeant Carpenter's full-time position.
So moved.
I'll second.
Would that be, do you know the rate, Chief Jenkins? Is that step one?
Yeah, I would have to look at the new contract, but I can get that to you. But yeah, it's step one of the current what do you call that, bargaining agreement? Correct.
Excellent. And I'm sorry, was that Trustee Sword that seconded? Okay. Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
Next, I'd like to request a purchase order in the amount of $4,361 to Fire Suppression Consultants LLC. This is to equip all of the township cruisers with cold fire extinguishers from line item 2081-210-420.
So moved.
I'll second.
Trustee Sword, Trustee Jessberger, Trustee Sierra.
Yes.
Yes.
Last couple items I have, I'd like to give appreciation to Officers Batters and Cuccio for life-saving efforts last month. They responded to a shooting victim in the area of Elmore and Dresden. Upon arrival, they had a teenage victim that had been seriously wounded by gun violence. Officer Batter and Cuccio were able to provide serious wound care while awaiting medics transporting him to the hospital. Also like to recognize Officer Reeves and Cuccio that assisted in the apprehension of 2 wanted serial armed robbers who were fleeing police and crashed into several vehicles in the area of Westerville and Ennis Road. Upon apprehending both suspects, a loaded assault rifle and handgun were found in the front seat of the vehicle. Out of that incident, there were no injuries, and I'd just like to recognize their efforts and what we're doing here.
All our thanks, Chief.
And then just to advise the board, Franklin County Chiefs meeting today. I was elected to the executive board by the peers, so I'll be representing small agencies within Franklin County at those bigger association meetings.
Congratulations.
And that is all that I have.
They will be well served. Okay, Superintendent Flake.
Good afternoon, everyone. The board should have monthly report that I emailed to you earlier this week. Other than that, I have no new business.
Thank you. Looks like there are some appreciations to be had.
I wanted to share my appreciation for firefighter Tyler Norwood. Matt was contacted by Linden Elementary School asking who they could talk to about doing a project for Black History Month. I told him that I could take over that. So I was talking with Chief Fraley and I asked if possibly help, and he did. So he submitted a video answering the question of what does Black History Month mean to you and why is it important. So I was able to get a video from him. I submitted a video. I was able to get one of our judges to also submit a video, as well as our new director of what used to be probation, but is now JASIS. So I greatly appreciate that Tyler was able to assist me with that.
Sounds like we owe you some appreciation through there, Trustee Jessberger, for helping.
And it's also on the fire Facebook page.
Oh, great.
Chief Fraley was able to get it up there, so it looks really good if you guys want to watch it.
Great.
Well, you said it, so I'll have to link to it.
Who's speaking to the second appreciation that's on the agenda? Okay, I have Public Works cleanup on my agenda under appreciations.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Appreciate it.
Sorry, I didn't have a copy of the agenda in front of me.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I would like to thank Public Works for assisting with a cleanup on Eddystone. They transported over 10,000 pounds of debris to the dump from that cleanup. That'll give you an idea. That's 5 tons of trash. So that was a big one, and thanks to Corey and his entire crew for that.
Indeed. Thank you.
I'll piggyback off of that really quick to give Public Works big thanks. I know they have been working crazy hours here lately with all of this weather we've gotten. So a big thank you to the flexibility and sleep deprivation of your crew, Corey.
Okay, I always love ending on notes like that. Were there any other items to come before the board? Okay, thanks to everyone. I will make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second. Bye. Have a good
Thank
weekend, guys.